Welcome to Magnet Gaming, and today we're going to starting to run out of games that I haven't starting to run out of games that I've actually played and beaten that I can do a review on. Of course, I have all the games I'm playing on the channel where once I either beat them or get to a sufficient play point, which my cutoff's going to be 20 hours, then I'll have some new games to review. So essentially I'm just cleaning up the list, finishing up what I have left to review. So, what do we have left on the list? Well, we have Doom clones from the 90s, and a couple other games from the 90s. So, which game shall we pick today? Well, I have a game called Strife on my computer. I rarely play it because I always get it mixed up with something else, which is a game from the 90s by Rogue Entertainment, published by Velocity Incorporated, that was called Strife. This game was released in 1996, and it's a first-person shooter / role-playing game. This is also re-released on Steam by Night Dive Studios in 2014. It was the last commercially released standalone PC game to utilize the ID Tech 1 engine. And the plot involves a world taken over by a religious organization known as the Order, and you're an unnamed mercenary, become a member of a resistance movement which aims to topple the Order's oppressive rule. You can talk to other characters in the game's world. You can improve your character's abilities. And there's actually quite a bit of interesting mechanics in the game. So, let's go ahead and get this up and running. So the question is this going to be yet another Doom clone, or is it going to be something worth playing? Alright, here we go. Game on the screen now. Time to get some sound.
Soldiers are being trained. A movement is born of lifelong strife.
See, as you'll note, the game actually tells you when it first starts what the whole objective is. Or at least it gives you enough backstory. You have all the standard Doom options here. And let's get into the actual game. We're going to do training, and we're going to start a new one. Let's call it Rev Review for short. It tells you what to do there. So basically, where this game takes place is you're in the Doom engine. Oops. It has very primitive graphics. And there we go. So yeah, it's graphics somewhere that basically Doom or Rise of the Triad level of graphics. You do have seemingly open worlds at times, but if you look down there, that's just sewer water that'll likely get you killed. Now that's the way you do that if you want to kill a guard. Sneak up behind him. And yeah, the weapons don't make a whole lot of sense. Like going behind, backstabbing somebody with something like that should have been a stealth kill, but that you're low level at this point, so it requires some suspension of belief. I don't think I had the audio going to the stream for this one, but that's actually has some primitive voice acting. We'll pick that one. So yeah, it's not the best quality voice acting you'll ever hear, but it is voice acted nonetheless. It's tolerable. It's a 90s game. It's fine. Alright, so we got our crossbow. The weapon variety is actually pretty interesting in this game. Like a lot of Doom comes a time just like ripped off the weapons. And the level designs are actually quite creative as well. You are confined to, it says a 2.5D game. It's not a whole lot you can see in the distance. However, if your eyesight's good enough, you can tell that that's a switch over there. I just took out that guy, which I don't know if you were even supposed to. There we go, took out a couple guys. That's a common, yeah, we took out a commoner. Not the right thing to do. And yeah, for whatever reason, this game is running. I'm not sure why it's taking up so many resources. It really shouldn't. You can actually play this game a couple ways. You can take a more stealthy approach, or you can play it more as a first-person shooter. You have a lot of different places you can visit on the levels. Here you got a hospital, and a lot of little extra things in the environment. It's actually quite an impressive little game. It's a lot. This is the precursor to System Shock and Deus Ex, I would say. Kind of like how Wolfenstein 3D was kind of the missing link between the early frame-by-frame dungeon crawlers. Actually, that's not a really good example. I guess that works as an example. Much like how the Wolfenstein 3D was the kind of the middle point between the fake 3D dungeon crawling type games and Doom. This game's kind of the missing link between a Catacomb 3D type game, where it's very primitive RPG elements. There, die, look up at the sky. It's good. Yeah, my analogy is failing. Anyway, this is a missing link between. This is the predecessor to your System Shocks and your Deus Exes. Who cares about the stupid, whatever analogy I was trying to make. But yeah, as far as gaming history goes, it is a rather important game to see. Nothing else, it shows the how gaming was progressing at the time, going from very primitive games to 2.5D, seemingly 3D games with some basic RPG elements to your whole Deus Ex type games or your System Shocks or Bioshocks in the future. Without games like this, and those games probably would have still been made, but it definitely was creative at the time. And at the time, the voice acting was actually rated quite positively. And there is some legitimately pretty good voice acting in the game. Here's some hand-drawn illustrations that look quite good. The music's not so good. The sound effects are acceptable. You only have a single save game slot, and this game is possible to get this game into. It is possible for this game to be in an unwinnable state quite easily. I shouldn't say quite easily. So yeah, this is one of those games where it's a bit difficult for me to really give an adequate review on, given its importance in gaming history and playing the game nowadays and assessing it in relation to all the games ever made as far as fun factor and gameplay. It's one of those games that doesn't hold up that well, but its importance can't be understated. So anyway, the game, it does have quite a bit of length to it. If I remember right, there's about 30 maps in the game, approximately 30, give or take a couple. It's quite a lengthy game. The maps do seem to be semi-connected, so you're not... They seem to be logically connected at least. And there's a lot of different quests you can do here and there. They're not the best quests you'll ever do, but they are fun and exciting nonetheless. And the story is better than your average first-person shooter, but a game like this does require a bit more. This story does leave something to be desired. But anyway, this is one of those games that if you're interested in gaming history, it's one to check out for that reason. Or if you love System Shock 1, System Shock 2, and Deus Ex, if you love those games, you'll probably love this one too. Or if you're the type of person that can both play games like Daggerfall and Skyrim in the modern day and appreciate both. If you're somebody that can appreciate both styles of game, you could probably go back to a game like this and not have that much of much difficulty playing it. It is very much going... It's similar to going back to Elder Scrolls Arena from the modern day. And I believe Elder Scrolls Arena was a solid game. Not an amazing game, not a top game of all time game, but it was a solid open world RPG. Despite its graphics, I believe it's still quite a fun game. I'll revisit it from time to time. I don't see myself doing a full playthrough of it anytime soon. That's more so just that I have plenty of other games I'd rather play. But for many people, returning to Elder Scrolls Arena, they're going to start playing that and saying, this is a piece of garbage. In a lot of ways, that this game is very much the same way. It's an important part of gaming history, but you'll probably have some difficulty returning to it if you also would have difficulty playing a game like Elder Scrolls Arena or Daggerfall in present day. But overall, the gunplay is pretty good. The gunplay is pretty good. It's responsive. It plays a lot like Doom, but with some different weapons that have some different stats. So you have to keep that in mind. You have a fallback weapon, which I always credit a game that has a fallback weapon, even if that weapon is your fists for hand-to-hand combat. So it has a nice variety of weapons. It has voice acting. It has quests. It's a really fun game to play. It has a sufficient difficulty curve to keep people interested. And overall, I'd say it's a good game. That's one that people should check out if they're into that genre. So where do I rate it on our list? I am going to put it in the B range. Like I said, I believe it's a very good game that has a lot of fun elements. And I'm going to put the game I think I'll put it right below Outlaws, right above Golden Axe. So yeah, at Strife, I haven't played the remastered version, or at least the re-release, so I don't know how that game is, but the old classic for DOS, it runs fine in DOS box, and it's quite a bit of fun. It'll give you hours upon hours of entertainment if you're into the first-person shooter RPG hybrid style game. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the review. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day.